Welcome everybody to today's live stream. My name is Alexander Montalvo with Indivisible Texas Lege, and today we are having a special event as we continue the call for accountability of Texas elected officials that participated and contributed to the unfortunate and horrific January 6th insurrection attack on the Capitol. Our event is the Texas and DC live stream of petition drop-offs. And I am excited to be here with Dulce Rojas from Voto Latino. Dulce, thank you so much for being a part of this amazing effort.
Thank you so much for having us. Our team is ready to go and ready to, the day is here. It's today, and we're so excited. So happy to be joining folks that are joining the live stream. Please take the minute now to share the live stream so that we can make some more noise.
Absolutely. I definitely want everybody to share this far and wide. So far, this effort is a huge collaboration between so many groups and so many Texans. Right now, the Texas organization statement that we launched on January 8th with 22 grassroots organizations has grown to over 90 organizations as of today. And combination of the statement we have and the petition that we have launched for Texans to sign, Voto Latino also launched a petition calling for Ted Cruz's resignation, as well as ours that calls for Ted Cruz, Attorney General Ken Paxton, and the 16 members of Congress that voted to object to the 2020 election results. And the vote that these members of Congress made was after the insurrection attack. And so even after all of that, they still decided to try to find a way to undermine our democracy. And so over 25,000 Texans combined have signed these petitions up to this point, and this will be a part of the effort that is going to be concluded in the drop-offs are the all the signatures that have been added within these efforts.
Most definitely. And there's still time to sign the petition. We're going to keep that open. We're going to keep it growing. So if you haven't signed it, do so now. If you have, share it with 3 friends. Stay tuned and hang tight. We're going to have our folks from Washington, D.C. joining the live stream soon. And we're going to have folks from all over Texas joining us as they're doing these petition drop-offs.
Absolutely. And within our post is the link for Voto Latino's petition, as well as the link to the statement that the Texas organizations have signed. And I don't want to exclude, we also have 2 Texas state representatives, because with this collection of elected officials that we're trying to hold accountable, Senator Ted Cruz and the 16 members of Congress are part of the federal level of legislation, and we're wanting them to resign or wanting that legislative body to expel them based on their actions. We're also supporting and encouraging actions that are related to disbarring any of these members based on the activities that they took place, as well as ceasing donations to their continued efforts and desire to stay in office. With Attorney General Ken Paxton, the state legislature in Texas has the opportunity to really hold him accountable. And we support Representative Chris Turner's call for the Texas legislature to investigate Attorney General Ken Paxton. That also can include impeachment. Attorney General Ken Paxton, the indicted Attorney General Ken Paxton, also under FBI investigation based on fraud concerns and was brought up by staff members within his office. He continues to submit frivolous lawsuits, as well as the frivolous lawsuit that was rejected by the U.S. Supreme Court, trying to overturn other states' election results. And so Attorney General Ken Paxton, in our eyes, has shown that he is not here to serve the people of Texas and is really using his office and the legal system as his own PR campaign to keep him relevant and to keep him in power to do the things that he feels are important as an individual versus as a public servant for Texas. So we want these elected officials to be held accountable for their actions. Add your voice, be a part of this. And I also want to share with everybody that with this effort, the Dallas Morning News for today, let's see, I may have to turn off my background for everyone to see this. Let me go ahead and do that real quick so that y'all can see this nice and clear, because we want to make sure nobody misses this. So Dallas Morning News today. This is today's paper, and within today's paper is a full-page ad for Ted Cruz to resign.
Yeah, so if you haven't gotten a copy, go get one.
Yes, all of our folks in Dallas, we want you to get this copy of this paper, share with everybody. This is the call from Resign. We have quotes from the petition, people who have signed the petition, and we also have the call out for Attorney General Ken Paxton and the 16 members of Congress that had voted on that day. So let me turn this background back on, because I think that looks probably a lot better than my whiteboard in the background. And let's see if we've got some of our drop-off participants available. Dulce, we're going to see if we have the DC folks online.
Yes, I think we have Melissa in DC. Are y'all ready to go? Can we? Okay, I think they are, Alexander.
All right, Melissa, if you can unmute. I'm going to ask you to unmute, and we're going to put the spotlight on you.
All right.
This is so amazing. Tell us where you all are at.
So we're here in DC, and you'll see the Capitol right behind us. We are going to hear from Camille from Voto Latino in about 30 seconds. And yeah, we're out here. You know, they might have fences up, but we're still here, and we're still here to deliver this message that Ted Cruz has to go.
This is incredible. I love the pa fuera sign.
Awesome. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Camille Martin. I'm the Partnerships Associate at Voto Latino, and I'm a Texan, born and raised in El Paso. Senator Ted Cruz has represented my state since 2013. As a concerned citizen, I am still in shock over what we witnessed on January 6th. Right here, 4 Wednesdays ago, a violent mob of white supremacists stormed the Capitol building. This insurrection sought to overturn the will of the people by halting the challenging of the Electoral College certification process. 5 people died as a result, and 2 Capitol Police officers have taken their lives in the weeks since. As a Texan, I say this: Ted Cruz should in no way be representing the people of my state. Following the armed insurrection on the evening of January 6th, Senator Ted Cruz, along with 146 other Republican supporters in Congress, voted to overturn legally certified electoral votes in Arizona and Pennsylvania. Senator Cruz was among the loudest voices calling to challenge the will of tens of millions of voters. Make no mistake, the consistent misinformation spewed by Senator Cruz planted the seeds for violent assault well before the 6th. Senator Cruz's actions and rhetoric directly harmed the foundations of our democracy. He actively attempted to silence voices, many of which belong to young, BIPOC, first-time voters. Ted Cruz put his political ambitions above the needs and desires of his constituents. Ted Cruz sought to capitalize on his commitment to challenge the certification of Electoral College votes. On January 6th, Ted Cruz's team was fundraising off his challenge of the results. His staff sent out a fundraising message during the insurrection while the mob was storming the Capitol. This action alone is a clear indication that Ted Cruz is not fit to represent the 29 million people of Texas. This is why we're gathered here today to deliver a petition signed by over 25,600 concerned citizens to the offices of Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Mitch McConnell. We're demanding the immediate resignation of Senator Ted Cruz. In addition to our Washington, D.C. drop-off today, Voto Latino, MoveOn, and Indivisible will also be activating in the Lone Star State. We will deliver our petition to Cruz's state offices in Houston, Dallas, and Austin. In addition to our petition deliveries, Voto Latino has joined Indivisible Texas Lege, which is leading a coalition of over 90 organizations. These 90-plus organizations are demanding the immediate removal of all 18 Texas politicians who were complicit in Ted Cruz's seditious actions. I want to thank you all for joining us today in person and virtually and holding our elected officials accountable. To Ted Cruz, I say, it's time to stop placing your political ambitions above the people you serve. The people of Texas are calling on you to resign right here and right now.
And back to HQ.
All right.
That is incredible.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Neil, let's see. We are going to remove this spotlight here.
All right.
Go back to Dulce. That was amazing by the Voto Latino team out in DC. Melissa, Camille, just an amazing message.
Absolutely. You know, Camille, you know, I think after everything that happened with the insurrection, you know, she reached out and said, you know, we need to do something. I need to do something. So it's so empowering to see her and our team out there. Shout out to our Dannies. We have 2 Dannies out there. So it looks like we have Margaret up and ready to go. Where are y'all joining us from?
Hi, we're here at Senator Cruz's office in Dallas. I think they're a little scared of us. We weren't allowed to park. They turned off the elevator, so we couldn't come up to his office. But we are ready to turn over the petition to his office on behalf of the 90 organizations and 25,000 Texans who do not condone or support his behavior, false accusations, despite dozens of false lawsuits, no evidence of any voter fraud, and his actions have consequences. There are people dead, violent attack on the Capitol. So I will turn it over. We're handing over the petition right now.
This petition and it's calling for 18 Texas elected officials, including Cruz, to resign for their part they had in passing election lies, promoting election lies that led to the riots that desecrated our capital, injured hundreds, and resulted in a police officer being beaten to death with people carrying Trump flagpoles. Cruz had a part in that. And this is a petition. There's a flash drive included in there with 25,000 signatures asking for him to resign. It's what he should do. His actions have consequences. He promoted a lie, and he incited people who are gullible and perhaps not too educated, or people that are just evil. He lied to these people. He lied like Trump lied. He lied like Josh lied. And that's the reason we're asking him to resign. It hasn't gone like all the other petitions that we presented here, that we've never been able to catch up. Okay. He does. What does he have to say about it? So he doesn't believe that. Okay, fight one fair and square. No, I have heard his comments. I wouldn't be asking yet. I've heard his comments. Absolutely. He knows why fair and square, and he lied about it. He lied and said to his base that Trump had been cheated. That was not true. There was no evidence anywhere. No evidence.
All right, and that's it from Dallas.
Margaret, thank you so much. We know Voto Latino and MoveOn organizers were in DC. We know some other organizations came together in Dallas. Can you give us a shout out of the organizations that came together for this Dallas drop-off?
Yes, and I hope I do my best. Can we get a shout out to the organizations here? So we've got Women of Dallas United for Action. We've got Indivisible Texas Lege. We've got MoveOn.
We've got 88 other organizations.
And those are just a sampling of the people we've got here in Dallas today.
That's some strong people power. Thank you all for showing up for those that couldn't be there in person.
Yeah, thank you so much, Margaret. That was amazing.
Awesome. So Alexander, I have a special guest here with us, our very own CEO and president, Maria Teresa Kumar. I will share a little bit more about her before we hand the mic over to her. Maria Teresa Kumar, for those that are not familiar, is Voto Latino's founding president. She's an American activist and social entrepreneur and an Emmy-nominated MSNBC contributor. And she's been leveraging youth, technology, social platforms, and influencers. Thanks to her leadership, Voto Latino has reached 6.5 million monthly. And, you know, under her leadership, we've been doing some amazing work. She'll speak more to it. But just to name a few of her accomplishments, Fast Company named her among the 100 creative minds. Elle named her among the 10 most influential women in DC, and Hispanic Executive named her among the 10 most influential Latinos. HBO Celebrity profiled her work, and Austin College awarded her the Posey Leadership Award. I'm sorry if I messed that up. Please.
This is too much. Let's get back to the point. Let's get back to the point of why we're here, everyone. So
you're so right. This is why I love her.
Dulce is absolutely fabulous. It's awesome to be here with Indivisible Texas. And for those who don't know me, I believe wholeheartedly that I'm an honorary Texan. My family lives in El Paso, though I am not from El Paso, but I have been now working in El Paso and in Texas now for almost 11 years. And that was because we saw this group of young Latinos coming of age with really bad actors like Greg Abbott's and Paxton's, and basically saying, hey, we're American and we need the respect. We deserve the respect, as does our family. And so what Ted Cruz has done is a complete affront to our democracy. It's a complete affront to what we deeply believe at Voto Latino, that our vote should be sanctified, that every single vote should count, and that the will of the people should not be overturned. And Cruz represents the opposite. The idea that he still has not apologized for the insurrection that he encouraged, that he still tried to overturn votes, that sadly 5 people died during this insurrection. It was not a peaceful transfer of power. And he's not stood strong talking about why we need to make sure that our elections are secure, that they are fair, and that every vote counts. I have to share with you a little bit about what we are learning. According to data from Progress Poll, it shows that over 88% of Democrats want him to resign, 52% of independents. That's not small. According to Business Insider, Ted Cruz is under fire for spreading election misinformation, objecting to the fair and free elections of 2022, and has fundraised. And this is where, catch this, you guys, he's fundraised against the US Capitol insurrection, where a police officer died, where we physically saw people scared for their lives, and we saw the bravery of Capitol Police trying to defend our duly public servants. That is not only something that we should abolish, but if we do not hold Ted Cruz and his ilk accountable, then what happened on January 6th was simply a dress rehearsal. There has to be accountability because we believe in our democracy and we believe that when we participate, those results should be honored. We export our democracy around the world, but we as Americans innately believe in it. And Ted Cruz is showing every day that he's unfit for office. So in the last election, Voto Latino registered over 612,000 folks when we include Georgia. In Texas alone, we registered over 267,000 Texans for the 2020 cycle. That work is not done. That is just the beginning, because we're very clear that in Texas, when we work with groups such as Indivisible Texas, when we work with MoveOn, when we work with local grassroots organizations, the representation of Texas will reflect the population that it serves, as a democracy should. So we are here. I am so proud of the Voto Latino team. Thank you, Indivisible. Thank you so much, MoveOn. A shout out to Camille and to the Dannys for being there present, because if we are not documenting, if we are not clear-eyed, if we are not exposing and sharing what is happening in our democracy, they will try to brush it under the rug. And it's indefensible. So with that, I want to thank every single one of these partners. It takes a movement of people, of Americans, to show up, to be present, and to hold Ted Cruz and his ilk accountable. Make sure that you share this far and wide, because we will make sure that this is going to be on the ballot when he runs for re-election. Peace out. Peace to everyone. En la lucha siempre.
Thank you so much,
I
Maria.
love my job. I love working with my. Thank you so much for joining us. And we have another great person on our team that'll be joining us before heading over to Houston. So I am super happy to share Brianna Carmen, our Director of Organizing and Partnerships. For those that don't know her, born and raised in El Paso, Texas. She has had a historic, I think for me, experience working with some pretty amazing elected representatives. So just to make sure she has enough time, handing it over to you, Brianna.
Awesome. Hey, everyone. As you all have just heard, I'm from Texas, currently sitting in El Paso, and I work at Voto Latino on our national campaigns as the director of campaigns. But Texas is my state. I feel so deeply about it, and it has just been really amazing to see some old and new faces and some friends working to get Ted Cruz and some other villains out of office. I know Maria Teresa had an opportunity to share a little bit about the work that Voto Latino did and why we are really invested in Texas as a state. Again, registering over 250,000 people in the state, mostly young people of color, to get out there and vote. So for us, it's about realizing our political power and pushing for changes, because we know that communities of color are disproportionately affected by all of the challenges that we're seeing and that have been really magnified under COVID. So if 2020 wasn't enough, we were all looking towards 2021, hoping that it would be an exciting new year. And 6 days in, we have this insurrection happen. So part of the work that we're doing is really calling for Ted Cruz to be held accountable, along with other elected leadership who are just downright harmful to our community. Senator Ted Cruz and these Republican leaders like Attorney General Ken Paxton, they pushed falsehoods about the election. They questioned the votes of millions, mostly people of color, in states like Georgia, Arizona, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, and spent our taxpayer dollars for their own political games in a state that they don't even represent. So these lies lined their campaigns' pockets. Ted Cruz fundraised off of it, and they mobilized an angry base to think that an otherwise free and fair election was stolen from them. So we all know that this culminated in the infamous January 6th insurrection, which will go down in history, where white supremacists and angry Trump supporters attacked our democracy. They threatened the lives of elected officials, but also everyday people who work there, like staffers of color, custodians, people who work in the cafeteria, just making sure that our democracy is able to run smoothly day in and day out. The insurrection, as we know, was just a huge slap in the face to America's democracy. And so far, those who are responsible, they haven't taken ownership of their actions. When you do something wrong, you take responsibility. And this is why we and tens of thousands of other Texans are calling on Senator Ted Cruz, Attorney General Ken Paxton, and the other seditious members of Congress to do just that. We want them to resign. We want Senator Ted Cruz to own his actions and accept that he put his own political ambitions ahead of all of us. He put it ahead of the people he represents, and he's unfit to hold office any longer. He should not continue as our senator. So after delivering petitions that you just saw in Washington, D.C., we're joining friends like MoveOn, Indivisible Texas Lege, and a coalition that they've led with 90 other Texas-based groups to drop off petitions all across the state in cities like Dallas, Houston, and Austin. So we also have an ad that's going on in the Dallas Morning News calling on Ted Cruz to resign. If we couldn't put it even more simply, we want him to just open up the paper and see his face and tell him to get out of office. So we're asking you all to do 3 things. Share this stream, sign the petition if you haven't already, and tweet the ad at Senator Ted Cruz to let him know that you're disappointed in him, just like the rest of us. So I'll turn it back over to you guys. I know we're working hard to make sure that Senator Ted Cruz, Attorney General Ken Paxton, and all of these other Republican leaders are held accountable for what they did to us. And I, for one, am really excited that we get to live stream all these happenings across the state and really across the country to show that These elected officials, they are accountable to us. We decide whether they are in office or not, so they need to answer to what they did. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Brianna and Maria as well. Both amazing messages, and why this is important and why we're organizing and doing this is that we need these leaders to be held accountable and to know that this is not acceptable to what they did to our democracy and to the voters who cast their votes in the 2020 election. They have not owned up to this, as was mentioned, and we need them to take responsibility and be held accountable for the horrific actions that ended up taking place on January 6th and everything they did to lead up to that. Next up, it looks like we have our crew in Austin. And so we have Sarah Murphy and Gil Ramos in Austin. We are going to transition to you guys. Sarah, if you want to unmute, and then we will put the spotlight on y'all. Thank you so much for being there in Austin.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, we're here in Austin. It's a beautiful day out. We've got our lovely giant remove sign out. I'm here joined with a couple other volunteers who are really dedicated to making sure that we're holding Ted Cruz accountable. It's not all about only voting in elections. We've really got to do the hard work of making sure our elected officials do what they need to do when we get into office. And Ted Cruz is a classic example of somebody who's been so traitorous to the United States by inciting an insurrection and challenging our democracy that he has to be removed immediately, because we know he's not going to resign by himself. And here joining me, there is Gil and Rip. Say hello, guys. And I'm gonna let Gil tell you guys a little bit more about what we're doing here today.
Okay, right here, 25,000 signatures petition asking Cruz and a whole bunch of other nasty representatives from Texas. We're going to ask these people to get the heck out, to resign. Ted Cruz, Ken Paxton, Jody, Arrington, Brian Babin, Michael Burgess, and of course, John Carter and Michael Cloud, Pat Fallon. These are all representatives here. Louie Gohmert, of course. God, he needs to go. Also, Lance Gooden, Ronny Jackson, Troy Nehls, August Felfer, Pete Sessions, Beth Van Duyn, Randy Weber, Roger Williams, Ron Wright. All these folks, including Ted, little cannon Ted. He has a little cannon over here, so I'm just going to say little cannon. And little cannon. And listen, guys, they have blood in their hands, on their hands. These folks continue to say, continue to foster, continue to pound that Trump somehow has won the election and that his opponent is there because of some trickery or magic, Gandalf thing. But because they're doing that, people have died, people have been injured, our nation's capital has been excreted on, peed on. People have been forced to hide there while they ran rampant. Have no mistake, they may say they are anti-racist, these folks that we listed, but they are very much acting in a way that is pro-racist.
Want to add anything to that, Rip?
I certainly agree with everything that was said. On the day of the insurrection, Liz Cheney, Kevin McCarthy, they backed off a little bit. They acknowledged some truth, but not Ted. He's pushing ahead with these, discredited claims about a lost election or a stolen election. He's looking to run in 4 years for the presidency. I want him to leave the Senate and have plenty of time to think about that. That's his goal. He's not representing the citizens of Texas. He's obstructionist. I just wish he would do the right thing. And even if he won't, we're here holding him accountable. We're reminding him. We're inspiring, hopefully, other citizens to rise up and say what they're saying inside their heads outside to the world. We need new representation. This is a crisis we're in with the COVID, with the economy. We need people to help the people.
You know, just want to tell you guys, we put Biden in the House, we put the House in the House, and we put the Senate in the Senate. This has been grassroots. And anyway, we can do this.
Thank you so much, Austin team, Gil, Sarah, at Ted Cruz's Austin office, calling for accountability. This is what we want people to see. Texans seeing Texans taking action.
And we had an appointment at 12:50, and since we're a little bit early, they're gonna twiddle their thumbs until then, but we'll wait and still deliver the petitions. Don't you worry.
All right. Well, if y'all want to stay in the webinar, and then we can go back to you around 12:50 if that ends up working. If not, definitely take pictures, and we'll share that with everybody, the action that you guys are taking. Amazing work, Dulce, being happening not only in DC, but all over Texas. Texans organizing to let it be clear we want accountability.
Yeah, I think it's just so refreshing seeing this mobilization. I feel like we've been under a rock for the last few months, and just taking action and seeing others, going out there and doing the work. I mean, it's just, I feel so much excitement, so much energy within me. I really wish I was there. But I'm also hearing that we have some folks over in, where are we? In Houston also, right?
Yes, we have Houston lined up. They are there ready to do the drop off. So we're going to bring Daniel on. Daniel's group, if you want to turn on the video and audio there we have Daniel. Great to see you, Daniel. Great to see y'all in Houston. Tell us why you're there and what is happening with this drop off for you guys.
Sure, yeah. And sorry, it's a little loud out here because we're near a highway because Senator Cruz has decided to move his Houston office to an extremely inconvenient location for most Houstonians. But we're near a highway here. We're in front of the Mickey Leland Federal Building. Ted Cruz moved into a federal building in downtown Houston, and we're delivering petitions to demand his resignation as well as the resignation of 16 other seditious Texas representatives, as all the members of the 90+ groups that are in coalition have been discussing for weeks now, since January 6th, when there was an attempted white supremacist, traitorous overthrow of the United States government, and they stormed the Capitol. And we're going to deliver these petitions. So all y'all that sign these, we're going to make sure that this goes to Ted Cruz's Houston office.
That's incredible. Can you tell us who's with you?
Sure. We have Victor. So I'm going to move on. So we have MoveOn and Indivisible Houston here, and others who have of course, everybody's worked on getting this in order.
Yeah, and Houston organizations have been amazing. The coalition of Houston organizations that signed on to the statement from the beginning. We want to give a huge shout out because Daniel Cohen, the member of Indivisible Houston that you're seeing, helps lead the group and also helped draft up the statement for the Texas organizations to sign on. So the amazing work that Daniel has done, all of us in Texas are hugely appreciative of your voice and your ability to get us all organized and together.
Well, thank you, Alex. Thanks for all the hard work that y'all put into it. Thanks to Voto Latino as well for the Dallas Morning News ad today.
All right, thanks, Daniel. It was great to see y'all. Thanks for making the drop-off happen today. All right, Dulce, let's see. I don't know if they were still going to be walking up to the building. We'll see if they want to turn on video or if they are done right now as they navigate to drop off that petition. So amazing to see Houston there. And I think Daniel made a great point about just the placement of Senator Cruz's office in Houston. We also heard from our Dallas group inability to call Senator Cruz's office to let them know we'd like to make this drop off, to let them know their call for accountability and the 25,000 Texans that have signed on call for accountability. Ted Cruz, as a senator of Texas, feels to be very inaccessible to actual Texans. And this is something that we've seen over the term of his tenure as senator. Oh, there we have Daniel back. So Daniel, just want to check in with you guys. Are y'all waiting for a staffer to come down to y'all?
We are, yes. They told us that somebody was waiting to begin with, so that's good. I guess word's gotten around, but we're going to have an opportunity to directly deliver this to someone. Hopefully. We'll find out.
Well, we're going to keep y'all here.
We're here in solidarity.
Come on in.
Yeah. We'll stop the video feed for you guys for right now, but go ahead and turn it back on once you are handing it off to a staffer, and we'll bring you guys back on.
Okay, well, I'll be in a few minutes. Thank you. Turn it up. Yep, so the host is stopped.
Oh,
right,
Alexander, you're on mute.
I think we're back. So Dual said, just seeing this action by Texans has been amazing. When Voto Latino wanted to engage in this effort and y'all started y'all's petition, what were y'all hearing from y'all's community? Because y'all connected with so many Texas voters in this last election cycle. And it sounds like there was a lot of feedback and motivation to take part in this.
No, yeah, absolutely. You know, we actually got the most voter registrations coming in from Texas. And I think this is a state that caught us all by surprise. And this was right after COVID hit. Oh, it looks like we have Gilberto.
Yeah, we're going to go to Gil.
So wait, let me get pictures first. Is that okay? So, want to take pictures?
Gil, we got you on the live stream. Looks like you guys are about to
cool. All right. Well,
how long have you been with the office?
At about 12:50, you're coming down.
This is the petition.
Awesome.
25,000. So from different Texans, 90 plus organizations. So.
Can you tell us who's there, Gilberto? We kind of hear some noise. If you can kind of explain what's going on for folks that are chiming in.
Yes. We've got 3 of our folks here. And at 12:50, there's Sarah and there's Rip and there's an officer from here. And also at 12:50 in 10 minutes, the staffer's going to come out from there and pick up our petitions.
Awesome, Gil. Well, we're going to hang tight with you guys. We're going to go back to Houston because I think their staffer is ready. And so we're going to transition to Daniel back to Houston here.
I love the small TED sign. Remove. Oh, it looks like we can't hear Daniel. Can we unmute?
All right, yeah, Daniel, we'll see.
We'll wind up seeing
there we go.
The Capitol. And the senator, unfortunately, has been on the wrong side of that. So that's the main thing I want to push, and that's why we're here. Is that we're really strong believers in democracy, and that's why everybody has felt the energy to go and do this. I mean, there's 4 other offices across the state of Texas today, and we'd like to see y'all reverse course on that. And that's, you know, so we're if we have to demand resignations to do it, if we do have to demand expulsions to do it, then that's what we're doing, and that's what drove a lot of it. Like I said, 25,000 Texans have said it, and there's more that are adding on to it as well. So we really feel that it's anti-democratic, and we really feel that if that's the way that it's going, then we may as well have a resignation so we can have somebody who believes in democracy.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your opinion. We live in America, right? In America, we all have our opinions.
That's
and I'm definitely going to pass this. So
cool. What's your name?
I appreciate it. R.W. Gray.
R.W. Gray. I'm Daniel. It's nice to meet you. Yeah, sure.
All right, thank you.
Hey y'all, so we just met with R.W. Gray. He's I believe he said He's
Deputy
a
staffer?
district director.
I
Is that
think,
what he said?
yeah.
So he's a district director, and we made sure to drop off the petitions. We let him know why we were here. That this was that there was anti-democratic rhetoric that led up to the election that eventually led to an aggressive act that was violent, when all we really wanted was a peaceful transfer of power. And if that's the way it's going to go down, then resignation is what we're looking for. Because if he's not going to represent us, then we'd rather have someone who will. So that was the conversation we just had.
Thank you.
Awesome, Daniel. Thank you so much for letting us come back to you guys as you talk to the staffer and share this message of accountability that we are all calling for. Our democracy is the tool we have for the people to be able to have a government that represents them. And if we have elected officials that do not agree with our democracy and want to overturn elections because the person that they want to win didn't win, then they don't have a spot on our in our elected official capacity in Congress, whatever seat that they take place in. We want to make sure that everybody knows that we will not tolerate this, and in all places we're not going to tolerate it in Texas. So thanks so much, Daniel.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, solidarity, friends. Okay.
All right, Dulce. So we got to see it happen in Houston, just like we saw it happen in Dallas, the actual drop off to the staffer. And that's the other thing, is that in democracy, we want to make sure that our voice is heard and that we are sharing the petitions and signatures of Texans. But this is how we do it. We communicate, we call for accountability, we show up, and while we want them to do the right thing and resign, we want the legislative bodies to do the right thing to expel if they don't resign. The final stop will be the voters. And what Maria shared, around 52% of independents are not happy with Ted Cruz and are not happy with his actions based on January 6th and do not want to see him representing Texas. That is showing that a growing voice of Texans are ready to have an elected official that actually serves the people.
Yeah, definitely. Well said. These actions cannot go on without accountability. Even last night, I was able to see the whole live stream of Alexandria Ocasio, and it just reminded me how much we can't just let this go under the rug. There's people that suffered a great deal, lots of trauma, and people lost lives because of this massive disinformation campaign. The country is divided, in a way that, it's like boiled down to this moment in time where it's like, we either got to step up, hold these people accountable and say enough is enough, or we're going to keep on this roller coaster, and it's not okay. I also wanted to share a little bit, hearing from our DC folks. I know we had them on in the beginning just really quickly, but they shared that they had a slight encounter, an issue with, they were getting harassed by somebody that without their mask, and then they finally left. Honestly, I can't believe it's gone to this point. Masks should not be politicized. Accountability is a fundamental in everything that we're doing right now. And it's just interesting to see, how this is playing out, right now as we have folks so bravely and, selfishly going out and delivering petitions. I also wanted to give a quick shout out to everybody that's on the live stream right now on Facebook and YouTube. Help us share it, this live stream, help us make noise. If you haven't signed a petition, you still can. We're gonna leave it open so it keeps growing. I believe right now we've surpassed our goal of 25,000. We're almost at 26,000. We're just a few signatures away. So please text it out, send it out so we can get to 26,000 in the next few minutes, and hopefully 30,000 by the end of the week. Let's keep going.
Absolutely. Let's keep adding voices to this petition. And likewise in Texas, if you are a part of an organization in Texas and you want to join the statement that's linked in our post, email indivisibletextlege@gmail.com. Indivisible Text Lege is spelled just like it is over my corner, over my shoulder here in the corner. And we'll put that in the chat, in the post as well, so you have that. But email us your Texas organization that would like to join and sign on. And a lot of people are thinking that this is purely political, but we have seen people from both sides of the aisle join this. There's a Republican group that is now putting out signs for Cruz to resign throughout Texas and putting that information out there. Because at the end of the day, we need to all recognize as Americans that an attack on our democracy cannot go without accountability. Anybody who's going to attack our democracy must be held accountable, regardless if you're a Democrat, Independent, or Republican. We need every Texan united in telling these Texas officials that they do not have a place in our government and representing the people of Texas due to their actions.
Yeah, and I'm also seeing right now, looks like Gilberto is getting ready to do the handoff, and I believe Sarah as well. Do you all want to turn on your cameras? Tell us what's going on.
Okay.
Let me just record you.
Okay. Hey, yes, we're getting ready to make it a handoff. At 12:50, the Cruz said that they were going to come down, and we will.
If y'all could talk a little bit more louder so our folks can hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry. At 12:50, Ted Cruz the office is going to come down to make the pickup. And so we are just waiting. We have one more minute to go, and we'll give them the petition.
Yeah, they're not going to come a minute early, so we'll wait it out just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Sarah and Gil. We're going to hand off because it looks like we have another office lined up. And so let me transition here. All right, looks like we're back, Dulce. Sorry about that. It looks like we have Casey in Pearland that we want to bring on to the live stream. So Casey, if you can turn on your video and audio. Let's see. All right, Casey, it looks like you're unmuted.
Hi guys, I'm sitting in my car waiting for my partner in crime to come and help me out. We're gonna get ready to drop this petition in Troy Nehls' office. Sorry, can't talk, it's kind of hot. But waiting on her and we're gonna drop it. I'm excited.
Well, Casey, tell us about the organization that you're representing and why this action is so important for you to take part in.
Awesome. Yes, I'm Casey from the Black Lives Matter movement here in Pearland, and this movement is really important to me and our organization as a whole because what we saw on January 6th was absolutely ridiculous, and the fact that we had politicians that are supposed to serve us inciting that and encouraging that shows us that they don't deserve the positions they hold in office, and they don't deserve to keep on doing the same things that they've been doing, and they've got to go. So let's do our part. We're doing our part to get them out. Power to the people.
Casey, thank you so much. We will check back with you once y'all are ready to drop off. Thank you so much for being there in person, and just another spot in Texas where people are calling for accountability.
For sure. Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to go back to Austin. Sarah, I think they are ready.
So Gil very helpfully scheduled this meeting. He's handing off the petitions right now, and we've got a little posse of enforcement officers over there. Just making sure we're not causing too much of a ruckus, but hey,
I think they were
First Amendment right.
I think they were kind of prepared. It was a quick handoff, hi, and then hi, which is cool.
Tried not to get photographed too much.
They were, I got to tell you, they were really okay with coming down. They were friendly to me.
But, you know, we're still doing our job as citizens, and this is what we have to do. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah and Gil and the team down in Austin. That is truly amazing just to see that drop off happen so that Texans are able to see other Texans taking actions. And this is not something that is just online on the internet where a lot of people may think this is where the noise is, but this is in real life, people taking action to let our elected officials know that we want to hold them accountable.
Yeah, and there's definitely still a lot more to do. You know, Voto Latino set out to target, Senator Ted Cruz and really to make noise and call for accountability. But, the coalition has done amazing work and will continue to do amazing work. Alexander, I don't know if you want to take a minute to just really, speak to the fact that the coalition is working, not just to bring accountability to Senator Ted Cruz, but Attorney General Ken Paxton and other Texas politicians. I think it's really important to mention that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And just to highlight for everybody, we saw the horrific events on January 6th. We were appalled by what was happening at the Capitol. It was a tragedy to hear the people that died because of this event, as well as just all of the destruction that happened at the Capitol. And on January 8th, 22 grassroots organizations in Texas signed a statement calling for accountability and calling for the resignation of these Texas elected officials, Senator Ted Cruz, Attorney General Ken Paxton, and the 16 members of Congress that voted to object to the 2020 election results. And since then, now we're at 90 plus organizations. On January 11th, we kicked off a call for resignations that's still on our website. And I'm actually happy to highlight that for everybody so that they can see the actions that they can take. So let's do that real quick. I'm going to share my screen while our Pearland folks are getting set up so that people can see this action. So if you go to Indivisible Texas Lege, on our homepage is the link to the statement. And this is our statement calling for accountability. And the vast number of organizations that have signed on to this statement in solidarity calling for accountability. Also, we had a press conference January 23rd I'm going to go to here in just a second, but this is our action for every Texan to call for resignations. You can go to our website, to our calls to action, and see this. And these are 8 actions we're asking Texans to take by using social media, by calling, by writing, to let these Texas elected officials know that we want them to be held accountable for their actions. And we're also asking, if your member of Congress is not one of the seditious members, the 16 seditious members that voted to overturn, that you are calling your congressperson to ask them to publicly call for accountability as well. And with the state legislature, as a reminder, the state legislature is the body that can hold Attorney General Ken Paxton accountable by doing a thorough investigation and by even leading up to impeachment based on that investigation. And so we want Texans to contact their state senator, their state rep, to let them know that we want Ken Paxton held accountable. And we're so proud to have Representative Ron Reynolds and Representative Vicki Goodwin out of Texas that have signed on to this call for accountability. And a big shout out to Representative Chris Turner, who had put out the statement calling for this investigation of Attorney General Ken Paxton. So these are the actions we're asking every Texan to take so that you can help keep the pressure going and so that you can help elevate the voice of Texans that are wanting accountability, which we know is the majority of Texans, the vast majority of Texans. Also, on January 23rd, we had a press conference that we shared that we had different speakers from the coalition, including Dr. Candace Matthews from the Texas Coalition of Black Democrats, as well as Cristina Sensun Ramirez, founder of JOLT and 2020 U.S. Senate candidate. We also had Neil Aquino representing Indivisible Houston, and we had Shantae Davis representing Sunrise Houston, as well as Representative Ron Reynolds. So check out this press conference. If you haven't, continue to share the message that we have for these Texas elected officials, which is we want accountability.
Yeah, well said. And I've always wanted to say this, Alexander, but breaking news. We've just hit 26,000 on our MoveOn petition. So let's keep going strong. Let's end the week by hitting 30K and beyond. So again, if you're just tuning in now, we have just completed petition drop-offs in Washington, D.C. Our folks there are visiting Ted Cruz's office there, as well as Mitch McConnell's, and they're also getting our petition copies over to Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. We also had drop-offs happen all over Texas with amazing partner organizations and volunteers. So if you're just tuning in now, yes, we just did the drop-offs, but there's still time. We still want to continue this petition. So again, if you haven't signed it, sign it now. Let's hit our goal of 30K by the end of the week, and let's keep going strong. If you have signed it, share it with 3 friends. Let's keep this momentum. We can't take our finger out of the pressure. You know, we gotta keep putting as much as we can pressure so that there's accountability on all of this. So definitely wanted to share that. I saw that and I just got so excited.
That is exciting breaking news. And that is just showing the momentum is continuing to grow. This is continuing to add more voices so that people know that this is not just a single day reaction, but this has been over the course of almost a month now. January 6th is almost 30 days ago when this happened, and the voice continues to increase. And as Dulce said, you know, we have been in Austin, Dallas, and Houston so far. And just to share quickly, this is the Texas map of the offices of all of the Texas elected officials, from Senator Ted Cruz's office to Attorney General Ken Paxton and the 16 members of Congress. And we'd love to have Texas volunteers drop off at these offices, these petition and the statement. And so we want to make sure and let people know that this is something that we want to have happen all across our state because we believe in this call for accountability. And it looks like we may have Casey available. Casey, if you want to turn on your video and your audio, we'll check in with you at Pearland to see what the status is with you guys.
Hi guys, here in Pearland again at Troy Nehls' office. So unfortunately, his office is not set up. He was this was the office that Pete Olson, our former representative, had. Apparently he hasn't set up the lease. So we don't know. They weren't able to tell me where his actual office is, and his actual office isn't answering their phone either. But we will continue to try to figure out where this man is so we can deliver this petition. Maybe not today, but we'll get it done.
Awesome. Casey, thank you so much for that update and just sharing, you know, this is why it's important for us to make sure we are connecting with our elected officials, because they think they don't have to. They think they can just not answer the phone like we saw in the Dallas office with Ted Cruz, or that you're seeing there in Pearland, that the office isn't even set up yet.
Right. The office isn't even here.
So thank you so much for that update, Casey. Keep us tuned in if anything changes. And if we don't have it happen on the live stream today, take pictures. We will continue to highlight the action once it is able to take place. Thank you so much, Casey.
For sure. Thank you for the opportunity. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Yeah, talk about being inaccessible, right, to the community, that we can't track you down. But, you know, this is why we got to keep the petitions growing and support. So, wow. I mean, hats off to you, Alexander. I mean, Indivisible Texas Lege has been doing amazing work with this coalition and everybody involved. It's such an honor for Voto Latino to be in this space with y'all. Shout out also to Chloe from MoveOn.org and her amazing team at MoveOn that honestly has taken amazing leadership in this as well.
Absolutely. This has been an amazing collaboration of people who are adamant about protecting our democracy. And so Texas organizations coming together to share this single call for accountability, to come together in solidarity, have this voice so that we can Let our elected officials know that we will not stand for attacks on our democracy. And then Dulce, Voto Latino, and like you said, Chloe with MoveOn, the partnership to be able to work with y'all and to be able to elevate this call for accountability, this call for resignation, expulsion, every level of accountability. I think recently there was just reported that law students had officially filed their complaint on elected officials. And there's a lot of movement to try to disbar these elected officials that can be held accountable within that space as well. And as we've mentioned, this is not ending today. This is a checkpoint to let people know where we're taking actions. We've been taking actions since after the Capitol attack, and we'll continue taking actions, even if it takes us all the way to the voting booth in 2022 and 2024. We want to make sure every Texan knows that we demand representation that is going to be serving Texans, and that our public servants and that are not using or abusing this office just for their own ability to be in the media or to get connected with people that they think are more important than the people that they serve. And so a huge shout out to every organization that has signed on, every Texan that is committed to raising their voice and calling for accountability. This is all of us working together to make sure we have the representation in our government. We have the elected officials, and we have the ability to solve the problems for people in our state and in our country. This is something that we want to see move forward so that we can move forward as a state and country for a better and brighter future.
Well said, Alexander, and thank you again. And to, again, everybody behind the scenes, and to everybody that's watching us live, thank you all for being with us. We are in weird times, and honestly, just being in this moment in space with y'all, it's really refreshing. So I hope everybody stays safe, wears a mask, get protected with a vaccine, whatever that looks right to you, and keep engaging with us. And yes, the newspaper one more time. So if you're in Texas, pick up. Oh, we can't see with the.
Yeah, let me turn off my background here.
Make sure to pick this up. Let's see.
All right.
There you go.
If you're in Dallas, pick up your copy, take a picture of it, share with us on social media. Let people know that Texans are seeing this and they want this to happen.
Yeah, and if you can, please use hashtag Ted Cruz resign. Sedation has consequences, or resign can Paxton. We'll be following those hashtags. Make sure to tag us at Voto Latino, at, oh my gosh, let me make sure I have your right, at here, Indivisible Texas Lege, and at MoveOn, at Ted Cruz, and all the other orgs that are participating. We'll be following those posts, and we'll be sharing those if your accounts are live, public.
Awesome. Well, Dulce, thank you once again. Thank you, Voto Latino. Yeah. Thank you, MoveOn. Thank you to the 90+ organizations in Texas that have allowed this action to happen and this call for accountability. Thank you to everybody that joined us on the Facebook live stream and YouTube live. Put in the comments if you want us to get connected, or if you want to email indivisibletextlege@gmail.com to add your Texas organization to the statement. We want to keep working together, and we want to elevate the voice of Texans that want to see accountability. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. All of our speakers, Brianna, Maria, thank you so much for everything that y'all shared, and all of our, like you said, Dulce, all the volunteers that were throughout DC and Texas to make these drop-offs happen. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.